My name is Joe Andazola. My incident happened on January the 13th of this year. It was a Friday, no less, Friday the 13th. I have very little recollection of what happened.
I just had this weird feeling, and I got a call from George that something happened on the golf course. I know I panicked immediately because I just had this feeling.
So we play 18 holes of golf, and we're coming up to the 18th hole. I turn around, and Joe falls flat on his back right on the edge of the green. I run over to him, and he's like lifeless. There's like no breathing. He's basically dead. I had never taken a CPR class or really wouldn't know what to do.
We determined that he was unconscious and not breathing normally. What I told them was get him flat on his back on the ground. Put the heel of one hand in the center of his chest, put the other hand on top of that, interlock your fingers. I want you to lock your elbows and push straight down. I want you to do it hard and fast.
Even though she wasn't there and wasn't seeing what was going on, she kept telling me, "You're doing a good job, keep going." She was very supportive.
You're doing a good job. You just keep going.
After I was doing them for a while, it was like Joe was basically lifeless, and I'm thinking to myself, he's basically gone. Is this really doing any good? Now that I understand about getting the oxygen to the brain, I can understand why that's very important.
When the question came, this isn't working, it was like, well, we just want to keep going. We just want to keep the blood pumping. We don't care about anything else.
An ambulance had pulled up at this time, and they came rolling out with a stretcher. They basically got Joe's heart started. I gave Karen a call, which was hard to do.
When I woke up, I remember being taken to a regular room. They said they were taking me upstairs to a regular room, and they rolled me into an elevator, and that's the first person I saw was my sister's grandson. That's the first person I saw. I don't remember anything before that.
So the cardiologist came out and he said Joe had what we call sudden death. He had cardiac arrest. They said that they had done over 400 chest compressions on Joe. And the doctors told me that it was the chest compressions.
We do a training class on how to instruct people on the phone how to do CPR. And that's recently changed to if the person is unconscious and not breathing normally, at that moment we start compressions.
Katie, who was the 911 operator, I think if it hadn't been for her patience, her persistence, her patience, her knowledge of what was going on, I probably wouldn't be here today.
As a dispatcher, people may be concerned about the injuries that they may cause while they're giving compressions or prior to starting compressions. And that really is, compressions by far is more important than any small injuries. You can cause while doing the compressions or getting them on the ground or getting them to an appropriate place. And you might, feel like you're causing injury, but really saving a life is more important than anything.
I think it's just so important to let people know you're with this lifeless person, but the chest compressions are flowing, getting that blood flow to the brain and, keeping him oxygenated. And that's what saved Joe. It was a miracle. It's just a miracle to take him home.